Welcome to Curiousaholic. My name is Haiko. I'm here with Mr. Shredder, Evan, who just played the intro of the song The Arena by Lindsey Sterling on his guitar. So before we get into today's topic, here's a quick rundown of how the podcast works. So in each episode, one of us comes up with an interesting topic that they are curious about and reveals it live to the other person in the hopes to spark a deep discussion and further our knowledge about the world around us.
So based on the song that I played, do you think you have an idea of what the podcast is going to be about today?
If I can guess a bit. Okay, well, the song named The Arena, the thing that comes to my mind is something maybe related to a sport or maybe fighting.
I think you got it this time.
Is it close?
It's very close.
It's very close.
It's about martial arts today.
Martial arts. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. It makes sense.
Yeah. So just a little background on the song and how I think I could tie this all in. Mm-hmm. So the song is called The Arena by Lindsey Sterling. It's a song that was originally written on violin.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite guitar players, Jason Richardson, wrote the harmony to the song. So like on the guitar, you play the top end, the high harmony, and the violin plays like kind of the low end. Mm-hmm. I think I got that right.
Yeah.
And yeah, so basically I was playing the high harmony for the song. You know, for copyright reasons, we're not going to play the actual backing track to the song, but hopefully you kind of got a gist of.
But
what
it sounded cool.
Yeah,
nonetheless.
It's one of my favorite kind of like instrumental like arrangements. I really like the song. So yeah, I used it for like my teaser for the episode because the arena kind of ties into martial arts and stuff.
True. So it gave me an idea, but I guess it makes sense now.
All right, cool.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Glad you appreciated the song.
Yeah, man. Good job.
Seems like it's not working here, but
maybe use our keyboard.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So just to tie it in even more with the topic, I brought a little quote to get us into the topic a little more.
Okay.
So the quote is, "A dojo is an arena of confined conflict where we confront an opponent who is not an opponent, but rather a partner engaged in helping us understand ourselves more fully." So this is a quote from Joe Himes in his book Zen in the Martial Arts.
Okay.
So
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. The way I want to kind of like approach today's podcast is, showing how what we learn in martial arts kind of translates to life, and it kind of helps us confront the arena of everyday life, like the battles that we encounter and how it kind of translates from anything in life.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. So this is kind of what they address in the book Zen in the Martial Arts, but you don't have to read the book to understand what I'm talking about today. It's just
okay.
Yeah. It's just to get a feel of it and kind of make some correlations. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. So kind of giving some personal impact on how I think the martial arts affected my life, because we like to talk about our personal interpretation of things on this podcast as well. Well, for me, I've been practicing martial arts since like I was a kid. I started with karate, like a lot of kids probably.
I did that too.
You did that too?
Yeah. Oh my God. But I abandoned it after a year.
Not a good experience.
I just got bored of it because karate is so choreographed compared to like other, I find, martial arts.
It is. But still, it still gives kids like kind of like a reason to get up on Saturday mornings, and some kids like it. And it wasn't for me. But I had the same kind of impression of karate when I started as well. I did it for a little while. I tried it at different gyms, also in different karate, like with different karate instructors.
Okay.
And I still didn't get like the hang of it too much and stuff like that. I was kind of like, I was a bigger kid, so I wasn't too athletic. But still, yeah. So for me, I started with karate. Then I moved over to kickboxing because I didn't like karate that much. So I went over to kickboxing. I went up to like blue belt. Like the belts are kind of irrelevant in kickboxing, but my gym kind of gave out belts to, kind of like differentiate the levels and stuff.
Yeah, I know. Same. Me too. Yeah. I think I went to yellow belt in my karate classes.
Okay, yeah. But I'm talking about kickboxing. So kickboxing, they typically don't give belts, but for some reason
they did.
Yeah.
Okay.
At my gym they gave belts for some reason.
But to feel progress or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I started getting into like Muay Thai, but then COVID kind of halted that a little bit. But other than keeping me in good shape and all that, it brought me some like moral values, I would say, that help me in everyday life. Martial arts teaches you a lot about like kindness and confidence. It helps you with dealing with any type of bullying you may have had, or not saying that I was really bullied or anything, but the typical like little scuffles you have as a kid and stuff. Other than that, it teaches you like hard work, like respect and all that. So I think as a kid, it's good to be around this type of sport because it teaches you these values that are not necessarily ingrained in other sports as much.
Sure.
I find, like, I've played other sports as well. I played hockey, I played football, and I never found that these values are portrayed as much in those sports.
Yeah, they're more like competition based and
Exactly.
trying to defeat the other person.
Exactly. But of course, in other sports they do teach you some of these values, and they do have common traits. But I think in martial arts, it's like a point they have to teach you these values, and it's like today
it's more like personal development geared
Exactly.
towards that instead of just defeating an opponent.
Right.
That's not the point necessarily.
Exactly. And so other than teaching me some of these values, I also got into like watching MMA, and that turned out to be like my favorite sport. I watch it like all the time.
You're a big
And here
fan
on,
of
on,
UFC.
on the slide, I just put a picture of our favorite fighter, Israel Adesanya.
With his recent gyno scandal.
Yeah, but that's just a joke.
I know.
I don't know how he got the gyno, but that's a story for another time.
Do you want to maybe explain what gyno is to some people who might not be aware?
Okay, well, gyno is short for gynecomastia.
Yeah.
And so basically you could develop gyno either from like, it happens that it's like a natural occurrence, but more typically it happens when someone is using PEDs or some enhancements and stuff. So
So basically this fighter had a bit of controversy, because his breast, was
His
a bit,
pec,
his
yeah.
pec was a bit, big.
inflated.
Yeah. And
To say
people
the
were
least.
suspicious and are like, hey, is this guy taking steroids or any type of enhancement drugs?
Yeah.
It was a whole story, yeah.
Yeah, so I just put it there because I appreciate the MMA humor.
Yeah. They have some good memes.
Yeah, they do. But yeah, that's just a little aside. So,
Yeah.
I learned a lot about martial arts by watching MMA.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so you could...
Let's go to the next point, yeah.
Yeah. So kind of like what I want to bring here is I want to try to draw the correlation between martial arts and kind of like problems we encounter in everyday life. So do you think martial arts kind of like represents a metaphor for like any challenges you might find in life?
Yeah, I mean, at first, I would see like UFC or other MMAs and, those sorts of sports like kind of violent and just, about beating each other up. But as I went on, as I got older, I find, that MMA kind of teaches you, discipline and kind of defense as well, like real life defense. It helps in those circumstances as well. But yeah, I think as you put it, if we extract it a bit more, it's sort of how to handle the everyday challenges that you have. And, your challenges usually are also with other people in life. You might not, be fighting with them or kickboxing with them, but you're sort of in this kind of, back and forth with the person, trying to find a solution,
Exactly.
where it's not because a lot of people always have the idea, when I'm arguing with someone, this is my opponent. I need to defeat them. I need to win. Whereas, in MMA, as you said, it's your partner.
Right. Yeah, your training partner,
your
right?
training partner. Yeah.
So in a sense, that's kind of exactly what I wanted to like enlighten is like the fact that like, yeah, your training partner isn't really like your opponent that you want to like kill him, but you're actually kind of growing together, right? And you're learning how to like approach difficult situations in life by kind of involving your physical body in it too, right? So you're doing this difficult activity, you're driving yourself to the ground, you're punching each other in the face and all these crazy things, but at the same time it kind of transcends not only the physical, it also kind of it affects other areas of your life too, right? When you're trying to address like a difficult situation, you're not always going to be, it's not going to always be easygoing, and you're always going to come into these like difficult situations. And I think martial arts kind of addresses that with the physical implication, right, of your body.
Like
so
metaphorically in life, when you're getting pressed down by all the issues and hardships that you're having, is to try to get back up and find ways to kind of
exactly
solve those issues.
Yeah, so exactly. You kind of addressed the first point I wanted to bring was that so this training partner that you're with kind of becomes your your partner in a sense where you're going to grow and understand life a bit better just by training with them every day, right? Rather than just being this person that you're hitting all the time or something.
True.
So other than that, I think martial arts also helps you like control your emotions a little bit better. Like for example, if you encounter like a difficult situation, if you're always like training martial arts and you're always being put in these difficult situations, like, oh, today I'm sparring this tough guy, or this really good, this training partner is really good, more advanced than me. And every day you put yourself through these difficult tasks, then eventually you kind of you learn to use that method in approaching problems in everyday situations, right? Where it be business or in your relationship.
It's a mentality.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Exactly. So you adopt that mentality for other areas in your life and not just like on the mats or whatever in the ring or the arena, right?
Yeah. I can see the benefit. Yeah. Exactly.
So for sure it really helps you control your emotions, like especially like for me anyways, when I do martial arts, sometimes I feel angry about something, just you get it out.
It's like a release as well.
It's a release,
Obviously.
So it definitely does that, and it helps you feel happier and more confident. Like when you achieve a good task, like you learn a new technique or something. It might not seem big, but you're still learning and improving on
yourself. It's a good confidence booster as well. Just trying to be assured of yourself that you can sort of defend yourself if need be.
For sure. The self-defense is a big plus.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And finally, I think the work ethic, is super like important as well, that they teach you in the sport, like, showing up to class all the time,
just
eating
general
healthy.
discipline.
Yeah. So that's something that you're going to learn in the martial arts classes to respect others as well. So
yeah, that it's not about, you're not here to beat up people or
exactly,
be violent. No,
you're going to get kicked out real quick from a martial arts gym if that's your goal. If you enter the place and be like, I'm going to pick,
a bully.
Yeah, you're not like like a white belt bully, like some people like of higher rankings, they make it a goal to like, hurt the newer people and stuff, but it doesn't roll like that, like people are going to get, those types of people usually get kicked out from the gym because that's not how the sport was built. It's built on respect and all that, and you teach the people that are below you, and not necessarily just putting a beating on them every time.
Yeah, exactly. Because then nobody will want to continue.
Exactly.
Train.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
So it's a very like...
It's a camaraderie.
Yeah, exactly. Even though it's a very like, if you think about it, at its base, it's like an individual sport. Like you're alone, right? Like, let's say you're going in the ring.
It's not a team of fighters.
It's not a team effort. But when you're in the gym and you have like all your buddies there and like... all these
like
people, it feels like a team. True. Like at the end, everyone gives each other like a handshake, even though like you didn't train with them necessarily. Yeah. It's really like,
even though you get pounded on the ground or almost get choked out, they would stop and help you come back up.
Yeah. Sometimes you come out of there with some cuts on your face or whatever. It happened to me the other time.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I got kicked. I like hit myself in the face with my own hand. I was bleeding. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know personally how much I would go into these sort of trainings. Like, I would like to learn some self-defense moves, but yeah, I don't know how far I would, do these trainings.
No, I'm not saying it's for everyone, obviously, but I'm just trying to show how like it affected my life and the philosophy behind what they teach. I think it transcends like so many different areas of life. That's for me anyways. I found by getting into this stuff, I don't know why, but it helped me learn about other things that I wouldn't have thought I would have been able to achieve or like stuff like that. So it definitely helps. Yeah.
It just help you grow
for your confidence as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay,
go on to the next part.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about these already a bit, but let's kind of reiterate. So what are the benefits you think of starting a martial art?
Well, sort of as we said before, self-defense, self-discipline, just also like I was saying a bit before, like conflict resolution as well. I think.
Yeah.
If it's just verbal, even, it helps you, kind of see the other person in a different light, that it's not someone to win an argument against, but, to come to a compromise and an understanding. Because I find like when you're fighting with someone, it's sort of like it's like a dance you're having, it's like this choreographed, well, it's not choreographed, but it's sort of like, pulling, pushing, so I guess in that sense as well, like resolving conflicts with people,
for sure.
But
Yeah. So you said a couple that I think I was going to say as well. I mean, the self-confidence, the self-defense, super important. I mean, learning how to defend yourself is really important. Like learning martial arts kind of made me aware of certain situations that could potentially happen.
Okay.
Like when I'm out in public, sometimes like I'm not like on edge, like ready to like hit anyone, but I'm more aware of my surroundings too.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like even yesterday I was at the store, I ended up going to the bathroom, and like this is weird, but like like on the urinals, like you're against the wall, you don't see what's happening behind you, right?
It's a vulnerable position.
It's a vulnerable position, and this type of thing kind of prepares you in the sense where you kind of look out for that type of thing.
Okay.
Not always be afraid, but just have some awareness.
Just aware. Yeah. Not be asleep and think, the world is always nice. It isn't, sometimes there are some crazy people, or someone who's drunk or something, if you're at night, especially.
Especially in like public bathrooms like that. You never know what kind of, weird person could come in there.
Yeah.
I know it's a weird example, but that's just the one that came up to my mind.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I think what MMA might also teach is not the fact to attack, but defend.
Right.
You know, to sort of disarm someone. Like, I think Muay Thai is more based on disarming people, or sort of...
No, Muay Thai is more... Oh, I think you're thinking Jiu-Jitsu. But yeah, they teach you that in Jiu-Jitsu where you could, like, let's say, they teach it to cops because they could actually use it when they're trying to disarm, like a...
Like to de-escalate a situation, like those MMAs, I think I like better, instead of, trying to beat someone to their pulp. No, just try to disable them so they can't continue.
Yeah, the gentle art.
Yeah, the gentle art,
So yeah, jiu-jitsu might be something that you would like in that case, because it is more kind of like a way of like subduing your opponent without having to like literally kill him, punch him in the face and knee him and elbow him. It's more like, it's like a grappling art. So the point is to get the guy on the ground and putting him in like a position where he can't really move.
He can't do anything.
And you have control over the situation. A lot of street fights actually end up on the ground anyways, so you probably would benefit from learning a grappling art. Most street fights don't end up standing. Like, that's a lie.
Yeah,
one person's gonna grab hold of the other one and gonna try to like push him, shove him. That's how usually it works. So learning how to grapple and submit an opponent on the ground is super like helpful, I think. I really wanted to get into it, but with the COVID, didn't happen.
Yeah, because those sort of MMAs, you have to get up really close to the person,
up close and personal.
So they're tough.
Yeah. So I kind of forgot what we were discussing, but kind of like the submission art thing might be good for people that want to, control an opponent without necessarily having to hurt them physically. You could hurt them, but you're kind of in power of, you could just like lay on the person on the ground in a like dominant position and he won't move for like 45 minutes if you didn't want him to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just stay there.
You could just stay there and make him not move.
Yeah, no. You could choke, yes.
You could choke, but you also have the option of not.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Just holding them until,
you could take his back, for example, and just lie there and,
he can't do much.
He can't do much. If you have, they call it the hooks. So you put your hooks in with your legs, he's not going to move. No. You could keep him there for as long as you have like
however
strength in your
strong
arms
the guy even is.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can hold him tight.
Exactly. So yeah, learning martial arts is definitely good for like self-defense. Yeah, that's kind of what we were trying to like establish, that it is good for self-defense and confidence. Obviously, if you feel like you could defend yourself, then, especially for men, I find it's always, I don't know about you, but like sometimes I feel like, let's say you go into a gym or something, like just a fitness gym, some guys are like all big and whatever, and you kind of feel like inferior just because of like their size.
Yeah,
but in
true.
reality, if you learn how to like a martial art, like the size is not gonna
It doesn't
make a
change
difference.
because theirs is more like brute force, whereas yours is technique, and
Yeah,
you know,
technique always beats brute force, right?
Exactly.
That's kind of like a general thing in life that everyone knows. So yeah, technique always beats brute force, and that's why learning these martial arts could be useful.
Yeah.
Also, better control of your emotions, kind of talked about as well. Being angry sometimes it happens to me, but doing martial arts gets rid of that urge. So
Yeah. No, it's. I mean, I can see a lot of the benefits, even outside of like the physical aspect, like I said, and conflict resolution, just in general.
yeah, your mindset.
The mindset you have. Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
This is not an opponent. This is just let's say a fighting partner. They want to prove something. I want to prove something. Well, let's try to come to
Yeah,
an agreement, understanding. Yeah.
So it's cool. It kind of, there is an analogy there, right?
Yeah.
That you could make.
That's what I see from it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true though.
Yeah.
Other benefits, obviously the fitness. You could
True. Yeah.
direct correlation
An
with
exercise as well.
For sure. Like one underrated thing I think that martial arts teaches you is like the mobility and like the flexibility that I think a lot of sports don't teach you that much. Like when I started doing martial arts, I'm someone that doesn't have like insane mobility. I'm not very like flexible and stuff, but I find learning that actually really helped improve. So, and that kind of helps me with other sports. So I'm also really into, like, for anyone that doesn't know, into like weightlifting. So I find like learning martial arts kind of helps me, let's say when I want to do a squat or a deadlift, because I'm more flexible. I could get into position better for the squat or the deadlift. So being flexible is really important for weightlifting too.
It's a good,
Yeah.
it's an advantage of the sport. Yeah.
Little crossover, you know?
No, man, we're talking about the benefits. Well, that's one of the other benefits. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just gets you moving and stretching your body more. I mean, if you're like grappling someone, you better be,
better be flexible.
Pretty flexible. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. The flexibility aspect is really important. The cardio that comes with it is, goes hand in hand, right? You want to have good cardio if you're going to have a fight with someone.
You need to be able to endure, like endurance, basically. Yeah.
That's going to be like, almost like, how do you say it? Almost like your limiting factor. Like the guy that gasses out first is gonna, he's probably going to lose the fight. So you want to make sure your cardio is good, but even that's important as well. If you actually end up in a fight in real life, like in the street, you want to make sure your cardio is good too, right? You want to, first thing in a street fight you have to do is run. Okay. Don't ever, you're not supposed to fight if you don't have to. You don't engage. Exactly. If you could run, you run. Yeah. So if your cardio is good, and you have a better chance of getting out of there. But then if you have to fight, then that's when you start using all these techniques that you learned and stuff, right?
Yeah.
If you're in a closed space, let's say you're in the metro, right?
Where you can't really run out necessarily, depending on the place.
A lot of people in the way and stuff. That actually almost happened to me, kind of like a little side note. I was in the metro once in downtown Montreal, and I almost got into like a fight with someone. He was clearly like intoxicated with something. It was the first day that they legalized marijuana in
Are you serious?
In Canada. It was the first day. I'm not even kidding. It was on that day. I remember back in 2018. I was in the metro near my university, and there was one guy that I was listening to my music, just like minding my own business. He came in. He was like, you could clearly see he was on something, and then he looked at me and he told me, like, change the look on your face. Like, why are you looking at me like that? You seem like a really good guy, but I could change that real quick. Like, he was telling me things like that.
He was threatening.
So he was threatening me, and he was getting like in my face, and then other people started saying like, whoa,
Okay.
And I was like, hey, I don't want any trouble here. Like, I don't know why you're talking to me. And I left. I left right away to avoid the situation.
Yeah, it's a smart thing. Yeah, because some people's egos come into play and they stand their ground or get up in the face of that person. Just because you might know MMA doesn't mean you need to always, practice it necessarily.
Right.
It's only there in certain situations.
And also, you can't assume that you know what the guy is like holding. Like, he might have a weapon on him, right?
Yeah, true. Which kind of sort of cancels out.
It cancels out any type of martial art you might know.
Although some martial arts teach you how to like disarm, but it's tough. It's
if someone points a gun to your head, like, you know,
Unless you're some pro,
Yeah.
like, Bruce Lee.
mercenary or something.
Quick, yeah, mercenary. Or Bruce Lee, or someone who is really quick and has a sleight of hand to
Yeah.
catch the gun.
Yeah. So
Most people are not, yeah.
First thing you do in an altercation like that,
Just get
try
out.
to get out of there as quick as you can.
Exactly.
So, and that's a word of advice, I think. And I think the last thing that it does, that it prevents bullying. So it's funny because I think martial arts prevents bullying from each side. So it'll prevent the person that's being bullied to like stand his ground and be like, hey, I don't want to deal with any type of bullying, be able to defend himself.
Okay.
But it also teach bullies not to bully. Because if they go to martial arts too, someone that be tempted to bully will be like, why do I have to bully anyone if I could release all this anger with my training partner at school? So it
Okay,
does.
so you think
It does.
it's a release for bullies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was actually like a study that was done. I don't know exactly where, but I've heard multiple like stories where some people that were kind of bullying others would go to martial arts and then they would completely stop, or it would
okay.
prevent any type of violent nature. So that's why a lot of people say that it should be almost like mandatory to have this type of training in high school and stuff like that, because it would prevent bullying entirely. Because one of the main discussions in martial arts is, hey, you're not supposed to bully anyone and you're not supposed to be bullied.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought like maybe attending martial arts classes, bullies would kind of learn the mentality, the
Exactly.
respect towards people. But you're saying it's also like a way to release the anger.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're right. Yeah, just going there, it teaches you the mentality. Hey,
Just
you're not supposed to bully
Learning
anyone.
good values and
Yeah.
respect.
And then they would be tempted not to bully because they kind of get to like punch and hit whatever they want in the
True.
class as well.
Yeah.
So so that's a really good thing, I think.
I mean, honestly, like I don't see the reason not to like include basic MMA classes
Absolutely.
in physical ed.
Absolutely.
Like we're playing freaking dodgeball or whatever. Well, why not just include
100%.
not like a full on MMA class, but just basic fighting skills and
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree with that. I've always thought it should be like
part of the
it
curriculum.
should be part of it. Like as much as like kicking a soccer ball around is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, does it really? Okay, soccer could be good. It teaches you.
It's a sport.
It's a sport.
Yeah,
right?
just moving around.
Yeah, it's moving around.
So why
but-
not MMA?
But martial arts, that's the thing. There's also like that extra little aspect to it. I find the respect that you don't really learn in other sports.
Yeah, the
as much.
philosophy and mentality that comes with it. I think maybe why MMA might be a bit touchy and like risky is because it involves maybe fighting and maybe potentially being hurt.
Right.
But although a lot of sports I've heard, even hockey, soccer, so many kids get hurt and injured.
It's very hockey is very dangerous.
Hockey especially is super dangerous.
Yeah. We're from Canada, so hockey's like a big thing here.
Yeah.
But, I know someone in my high school. He was the same age as me. He got paralyzed for life. He's paralyzed right now from hockey. From
Oh,
playing
you
hockey.
know
Yeah.
from hockey.
Yeah.
Where what sort of
What happened was he was on the ice and he was expecting to be like hit from the back. So he kind of like changed his trajectory while he was going close to the boards to like get the puck.
Okay.
And he slipped while he was like kind of bracing.
yeah.
And he slid and he couldn't stop himself and he hit the boards head first. So he broke some of his
the
vertebrae.
side
the boards.
Yeah. He hit
His
head.
head and
Oof.
and he's paralyzed now.
Where? How much?
From the waist down? He can't move. He can't walk.
Okay. What is that called? Quadriplegic or
Paraplegic.
paraplegic?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think. Don't quote us on that. But
Okay, he can still move his upper body, but not the legs.
I'm not sure about his upper body. I mean, I haven't spoken to this guy in a long time, but I follow him like on social media and
Okay.
stuff. So I knew the story, and it's really sad.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's
Like
but
from
now
a sport. Like
now
that.
he's actually Olympic level rugby player, but like on the wheelchair, like
Oh
for like,
yeah, I think I've
like
seen those.
the
Yeah.
Special Olympics and stuff. And he was like
He's got to that level.
yeah, he got to that level. So good for him.
Props to him.
Yeah. So yeah, other sports could be really dangerous. I mean, it's not just martial arts.
I honestly don't see the difference. I mean, this could even be less.
Probably
Really,
less.
if you're using the right techniques, if there's someone to,
Mm-hmm.
monitor and supervise. But
Yeah. especially that everything is controlled, right? It's not like maybe some martial arts could be more violent and aggressive. Like jiu-jitsu could be really like when you're rolling, you're going like full force. Yeah, accidents could happen.
I guess you use protective gear as well. Don't they have
In jiu-jitsu, not so much, because it's pretty like gentle. Like you're not gonna really injure yourself unless you yank like on a choke or
what
something.
if like being slammed to the ground or falling or like head
Yeah,
wise?
that's a risk, of course, but you got to be careful, I guess, when you're doing like takedowns and wrestling and stuff.
Because there is the mat to
Yeah, but it's still super. Yeah, it's controlled. It's not like everyone's doing it on purpose to kill each other, right? But in hockey, there's always that element of like uncertainty, like oh, the puck is rolling, and he braced
just
at the wrong
rushing
moment, and
but
that affected the rest of his life.
But I think there's a key difference, right, between martial arts and a lot of these sports is the competitive nature. I think, yeah, okay, UFC, maybe people would say, well, that's pretty violent and pretty competitive. Okay. But I mean, just practicing MMA in itself, it's not like, blue versus red or, whatever this
I
team versus
understand what
that,
you mean.
whereas hockey is that, or soccer, it's, rush after the ball and at whatever cost, push the other guy out and who cares what happens,
Because I feel like in a sense,
think?
martial arts is kind of like you against you. That's kind of like the way I look at it. If you come in on
Okay.
the wrong day and you're feeling off, that could you could mess up your performance just because you were having a bad day or something. I guess I don't know. That's just my opinion about it. I think
Yeah,
I think
because
it's less of that. I know what you mean. That less of that like confrontation with another team or something.
it's self-improvement
Yeah.
with another partner or this group of people,
Exactly.
which could be your team, so to speak. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. There isn't that kind of competition based
True.
aspect to it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of parents bring their kids to like, friendly like karate tournaments, and it's not like the point is not to beat each other up, right? Especially for these kids,
Yeah.
it's just learning how to improve yourself.
Improve together, basically. That's what I find.
Yeah, that's what I find too, and that's why I encourage a lot of people to start martial arts, and that kind of brings me up to my next point, which
Yeah.
is kind of, yeah. So. The question is like some people ask like is it ever too late to like start, or how do you start martial arts, and if it's ever too late to do so? Well, I don't think so. I think there's never really a time where you could be like I don't want to better my life or better myself as a person. So no, the short answer is that you can do martial arts whenever you want and whenever you feel like it.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best ways to do it is to find like a reputable trainer and a guy that that cares about his students, and it's not just like I'm here to make money. Finding a gym that really cares about their students and all that stuff is really important. So I think that's the first step for everyone to learn.
Yeah.
So for myself, like I found the gym, like I'll give it a little shout out here.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Where is
Titans
it?
Academy in Montreal. It's a Muay Thai gym. So the way it happened for me was, I was kind of looking online, and then I saw the trainer that's there. He trains like pro UFC fighters as well. It's not just like, some martial arts gyms are a little, under the table, kind of
sketchy.
like, sketchy, like
Yeah, true.
for lack of a better word. But that's a reputable gym. Like a lot of people go there. He trains a fighter that I know, Rory McDonald.
Okay.
He trains there. So I was like, oh, wow, the trainer must be awesome, if he's training these pro fighters.
Well, one of the other famous fighters, George.
George
St.
St. Pierre.
Yeah.
So, well, he doesn't train him directly, but he's kind of like involved with that TriStar gym, another popular gym here in Montreal.
Okay.
So yeah, all those guys kind of like train together and all that stuff, and I was like, oh wow, I want to go train there. It looks like a good place. And when I went there, I was like super like impressed by like the service, even at the front desk. Like the people were super nice and all that, and it made me want to go back. But now with the COVID, it's been a bit difficult to go there. Sadly, I was doing some of the classes online, but
It's not the same.
I don't feel like it's the same. I don't like it as much. Like I like being there with other people,
Yeah, obviously. This is meant to be in person. So this isn't something you can just Zoom it.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing it on Zoom. I was like, oh, okay, I'm learning, but I'd rather be there with a training partner. I was going with my cousin and stuff. It was fun.
It's understandable.
But hopefully we could get back to that soon.
One day, yeah.
Yeah.
Sooner.
Finding a good gym is important, and also like learning from the pros, right? Like just if you want to do your own like research, like if you watch like UFC fighters, let's say on YouTube or something, they could teach you a thing or two about some techniques or whatever you want to learn. So yeah, learning from the pros is a good way to start. Sometimes like just watching the UFC fights, I remember watching Michael Chandler fight Dan Hooker like on a couple of UFC's events ago. He did something to get the knockout, the finish, and I was like, oh wow, that it's not even a complicated thing that he did. And I was like, oh, okay, I could learn how to do that too, And I started practicing that move or whatever it was.
Yeah, just watching others fight is a good way.
So yeah, just learning from the pros basically. And then finally kind of, getting your own martial arts equipment at home could be good too to train. So
all these little things. Definitely, man. Some good advice, yeah.
Yeah. So I think, getting your own martial arts equipment at home is cool too. I mean, since we can't get to train at the actual gyms, at least you get something.
But although I find that this having like a teacher is crucial. I
agree.
Yeah,
for sure. I think the most important thing, like I said, is finding a good trainer. That's the best thing you could do if you want to start.
Yeah. So once this COVID thing sort of starts to die down,
you'll come with me.
Sure. Yeah. I want to give it a try.
Yeah,
at least
you'll
once.
like it.
Yeah.
So kind of wrapping it up. Don't want to drag this for too long. I think we went on a bit, but finally, do you think martial arts prepare us for quote unquote the arena of life?
The arena of life. Dude, definitely. I mean, I think once you brought this topic and made me think about how this affects other aspects in life, I kind of see it better now.
Yeah.
The physical aspect of self-defense, self-confidence, that's great. But also, just extrapolating that into other situations and conflicts you might have with people where, it's not a competition to try to win, but try to come to a solution together. And
exactly, yeah.
Just a general mentality. That's great.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better.
I think that kind of,
I kind of
wraps it up well.
So I'll try to play us out here.
Yeah. So you're gonna play the continuation.
The continuation of what I was playing
from the arena song. Yeah. So let's have Evan grab his guitar now. Well, thank you guys for watching. We will see you next time. We'll have this time Evan roll us out of here. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Curiousaholic.
Our show is available on all of your favorite streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher.
If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure to leave a comment letting us know what you've been curious about.
We release new episodes every single week just like this one.
But until next time, stay curious, folks.